Yeah, yesterday we learned about strings and arrays. Okay, we'll, we'll continue that. Okay, I'll just recap about arrays and then we can go for next. Okay, so we will use arrays like if you want to store some list of values or some collection of values, right? Then we'll be using array. Okay, so whenever you want to create an array, either you can use new followed by array function you can call. Otherwise you can even just say open bracket and close bracket so that an empty array will be getting created. Okay, so whenever you are creating an array, if you have the values readily available, then you can directly give the values inside these square brackets. Okay, so an array always will start with each will have like generally in object we will be having key value pair, right? If you have the key, then you can access the value. But in in array, you have to access with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. So it starts with 0. Okay, and if you want to assign the value at particular index or you want to replace the value, then you can use the number like fruits of 2, like of means this bracket in this it will be 2. Okay, you can replace the value. You want to insert the value, you can do like this, and there are other methods as well that I will tell you. Okay, and we have one property, the length property, which is directly available. Okay, if you use that, you can get the length of these. Okay, so in array here we are only storing the strings, but we can store numbers or booleans or any type of values. Okay, so and other methods in our like there will be other methods as well, saying pop, push, shift and unshift. Okay, so pop and push means like if you use push, it appends elements to the end, and shift, it will uh, shift is it will get an element from the beginning. Like I'll show you how it works. Push will add the element to the end. Pop will take out the element from end. Okay, it is push and pop. So this generally uses the stack mechanism that I'll tell you. For example, where array some numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are numbers. Okay. So in this array of values, you want to add 10. Okay. So I don't know the length and I don't want. So I want to add 10 to the end of this particular array. So you can use this push method. Okay. So if you want to add something to the end, then you can use push method. So how is the syntax? You have to use array dot push, and in the brackets you have to pass the number. Okay, and if you print the array, now it has 10 elements from 1 to 10. So how did it happen? We use it push. So if you push, it will be adding to the end. Okay, so the likewise, even you can add multiple elements using push as well. Okay, you can use push 10, for example, 11, 12, 13, 14, like that. Okay, so you check array now, it has all these elements from 1 to 14 because at a time I have added 11, 12, 13, 14. So the output is 1 to 14, right? So even we have one more method in order to remove some elements from the array as well, which is array.pop. So now what it's returning, if you use array.pop, it will return whichever the element it has removed. Okay. So if you check the array now, it will have only 13 elements from 1 to 13. Okay. So pop is removing the last element. Okay. So if you execute array.pop once again, what will be in the array? We will have only 12 elements. Why? Because array.pop is removing the last element here. Okay. So the push and pop will handle with only last elements here. Okay. Push will add an element to the end, one element or a list of elements. Pop will remove the last element. Okay. And similarly, we have shift and unshift. Okay. So shift and unshift we generally don't use, but if there is a requirement, we can use that as well. So let me check what is shift and what is unshift. So what shift will do is shift will take first element from the start. So it will remove the first element from start. Okay, for example, you want, so we have the array, right? So here I want to remove this first element. Okay, then what we can use array dot shift. And if I check the array, so shift and unshift, as I said, it will deal with start of this array. Okay, so I'm removing first element. Okay, if I use shift once again, it will remove two. That's why it returned me two. So if you check array now, there is no 1 and 2. Why? Because we have used shift twice, right? Similarly, so if you want to add something to the start, then you can use unshift. Okay. So if you want to add 1 comma 2 at the start, then you can use unshift. Okay. So it added 1 comma 2. Similarly, like unshift is similar to push. Pop is similar to shift. Okay. So what is the difference between these? Okay, shift, push and pop and shift and unshift. I'll tell you. So you have to remember if you are dealing with the end of this particular any array, if you want to remove something. Okay, for example, there is apple, orange and pear. Okay, so if you do fruits that pop, so it will remove pear and return it. Okay, so as it removed pear, it will return and we are logging that. That means the pear will remove. And if you log fruits now, we'll have only apple and orange as we have removed pear. Okay, and whenever you are using push, it will be pushing to the last. So if you print that fruits, what it will have apple, orange and pear. Okay, it's very important. Let me know if you have any doubts till now. Okay, and shift, what it will do, it will remove the first element. Okay, it will remove apple. Okay, so as it removed apple, it returned that, and at the end we have orange and pear only as apple is removed using shift. If you use unshift, you can add that apple at the start. Okay, so let's guess the output of this. So can anyone tell me the output of this particular code? You can ping in the chat. Yeah, if you don't want to talk, you can ping in the chat. I want to tell what will be the output in the fruits. Sujan, Gordon, Venkatesh, anyone, can anyone tell me what will be the output? Hello?
Uh, uh, Hello, Sunil.
Yeah,
Yeah, push will be like a apple, orange, and peach,
okay.
and unshift will be pineapple, lemon, and apple. I think. I guess.
Yeah, so output will be pineapple, lemon, apple, and we already have orange
Yeah.
and peach, right?
Mm.
Yeah, so this should be the output, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have the same thing, right? So it will add to the end apple, orange, and peach, and before apple, we will add this pineapple and lemon. Okay, that's how it will work. So internally, array is internally an object. Okay, so here, like key will be the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So at zeroth position we'll have something, and first position will have something. So array is internally an object in JavaScript. Okay, so we use same syntax for array and objects. We use array of 0, which will be coming from like object actually. Okay, there will be using object of key. Here we'll be using array of that particular index. Okay, so internally arrays are also objects. Okay, that's why whenever like like for example, if you try to print array, if you check internally at zeroth position we have one, first, two, two, three, right? So these are all keys and these are all values internally. But we will only show on the top, will only show these, right? So internally, this is also an object. Even if you try to check what is the type of this particular array, it will be an object only. Why? Because all these arrays are developed. This is not a particular data type in JavaScript, but it is an implementation which is given by JavaScript. Okay, which is coming from object only. So whenever you are uh, trying to check type for an array, so instead of type of, you can use instance of, instance of I guess instance of ARR will return whether it is an array or not. Let's check. Let me check how instance of will work. So here they are using just spaces. Okay, like there is no there is, it's not a method. They are using just O instance of C like that, right? So how we should use it, like ARR instance of array. Okay, this is the particular syntax. So instance of means like, so generally whenever we create an empty array, we are creating from like array object. Okay, so here for example, if you see, there is car function, right? So and we are creating auto from car. Okay, so like here auto new car we are using, and so if you check auto is instance of car, then it's true, right? In the similar way, even we are creating array. Okay, so if you see how we create array, we say new array or square brackets, which is similar to this. Okay, so if you check for instance of means, is it an object created from that particular class, like that? Okay, so similarly we are using the same syntax here to check whether it is an array or not. So how we will be checking whether it is an array or not? The particular array is a instance of this array or not. Okay, array is a inbuilt uh, inbuilt uh, inbuilt class. Okay, is it an instance of this or not? Okay, so like that we'll be using. So as if you use type of for array, will always be getting object. Okay, to avoid that, we'll be using instance of. So for example, let's say there is fruits. Okay, and at some 9999 position, we can assign 5. So it will create those many values before it. Like if, for example, let me show you var equals to empty array and array of, for example, 5 equals to, okay. So if you check array now, how it will be. Okay, at fifth position we have something and all the positions are empty. Okay, so if you try to access 0 position, it will be undefined because we didn't give any value. 1 undefined till 0 to 5 it will be undefined. 0 to 4 it will be undefined. Only at array of 5 we have something here. Okay, and for example, like even we can have something like object kind of thing, so which is not recommended, but even we can use like that. For example, array of array dot array dot name. And if you check array, we have empty 5 empty places, and like 0 to 4, 5 empty places, and at fifth place we have something, and after that we are having in the name we are having Sunil. So as it is internally an object, we can even use array like this. Okay. So coming to push and pop and shift and unshift, what will be the performance in that? Okay. So if you see, there is a rabbit at push and pop, and here it's slow moving. Like rabbit will be fast moving. Like why? Because push and pop will be faster. Okay. Why it is faster? We'll know. Okay. Okay. For example, there is array, and you want to add something at the start. Okay. So how you will add, for example, 0, 1, 2. At we have apple, orange, pear, and lemon. Okay, we want to remove apple. So what if we have to do? First, we have to remove this. Okay, at zeroth position, we have to remove this. So we have removed at zeroth position, we have removed apple, and at first, second, third positions, we have orange, pear, and lemon. And then we have to move all the elements to left. That means at first position there is orange, it has to come to zeroth position, and pear has to come at first position, and lemon has to come at second position. So whenever you are doing shift, you have to do all these operations. Okay. And if there are, for example, 1,000 elements, all the 999 elements has to transition. Okay. One place left. Okay. If you check for unshift, we have to do the same thing, but you have to shift right. You have to create an empty space at the start and shift right, and you have to insert something at the start. And let's check for push and pop how it works. So for example, there is lemon at the end, and we want to remove lemon. So we just uh, deleted lemon, and all the places are like that only. Okay. Similarly, for push, you have to insert at the last position only. Okay. So you don't have to change all the arrays. So is everyone got why push and pop are fast and why shift and unshift are slow? I guess everyone got, and so try to use push and pop, not shift and unshift. So generally we use for loop in order to print or in order to check if any element is present or not. Then we'll use for loop, which will write some code. Which we already learned, right? How to loop an array using, for example, there is some prime numbers. You want to check whether these has some, like if there is has some even numbers or not, right? Actually, there is no prime numbers defined as of now, but let's define something. In this particular array, let's check if it has some even numbers or not. Okay, we have 2, 6, 8, 10 as even numbers. Okay, so what we are doing? We are looping through all the elements. How we are looping? I am saying where I equals to 0, I less than prime numbers dot length. So length is 10, right? So it will loop from 0 to 9 position. That's why I give I less than 10. I less than 10 means it will loop 0 to 9. Okay, ninth position will be 10. Okay, so I'm incrementing. So I'm getting the element, each element using the array name followed by I. Why I have defined I here? Because at I, first it will be 0, then it will become 1. I have to loop through each of the element. Okay, and then I am checking if it is a number, then only check, do some do something with it. Okay, and if it is a number and if it gets divided by 2 exactly, then only I want to print that particular number. Okay, so let's modify something here. So I want to check, I want to have new array which will have even numbers from it. Okay, okay, I want to have new array which will have even numbers from it. So what are the changes I need to do in this code? Tell me. I want to have new array where I can have even numbers. Can anyone tell me what are all the changes I need to do? Then goes and Venkatesh. Anyone? I want to have new array where I want to store all the even numbers from that particular prime number array. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll create one array first, empty array. And if it is a even number, I will add that particular even number here. Okay. So if I print even numbers, I will have all the even numbers, right? So similarly, I want to have one more code example where there is an array. So here there is an array. I want to have only unique numbers from it. Like for example, one is already present, one is twice, right? I want only once. Okay. Like I want only distinct numbers from it. Okay. how I can write the code is I have to go through. So let's check. There will be one. So we have learned index of, right? So what index of will do? It will check whether the element is present or not. It will tell us. Okay. So for example, array dot index of, what it will do? Index of 1. So it will tell me whether it is there or not. As it is there, it return me that particular index. Okay. For example, search for 20. 20 is not present here, right? So it didn't return me. It returned -1 to me. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll get a new array. Okay, which will have only unique numbers. So for example, I will create new array. So which will have only unique numbers, unique array. Okay. And what I'll do, I'll loop through this array and check, I'll add into it if it is not present in this particular array. So what I'm doing is I'm looping to this initial array where I equals to 0, I less than array dot length and I plus plus. So if something is not present in unique array, then only I want to insert it. So initially we don't have. Okay. So if it is not present means unique array dot index of the element. So element is array of I means we'll get the each element 122 like that, right? So if any element is not present, like unique array, initially it will be empty. So is one present here? No. Then only I want to insert. So if index of is equal to -1 means if it is not present means then only it will return -1, right? So then only I want to insert in this particular unique array. Okay. So is everyone understood? What we are doing is we are looping through the entire array first, and I have created a new array. So in this array, I am checking here whether this element is if the element 1 is not present, then only insert it. If 22 is not there, then only insert it. So already at this time we already have 1 into this. So what this particular function will return here? It will return 0. Why? Already 1 is inserted at 0 position. So this condition won't pass. So we won't push again. Okay, 2 is not present. So that's why we will insert it. Okay. So let's check now and let's print unique array. So it has unique elements now. It doesn't have 2 twice or 3 twice, right? It has only once. Is everyone got or any other doubts? I want everyone to speak like if you understand or didn't understand so that I can explain once again, because arrays and objects are very, very important.
Yes, understood. Sunil.
So in order to loop, I was using for loop, right? Similarly, there is one something called off as well. Okay. I don't know whether it will work in service now or not. I guess it won't work, but generally if you want, then you can use off, like fruit of fruits, then it will just return each of the element. Okay. How it will work, I'll show you. it will return, it will print each of the element. You can loop through using of. In the for, you can use fruit of fruit, and this fruit will have each of the element every time. Okay. Okay, as we know that array is also an object, we can even use this key in array as well. Similarly, how we use it for object. Okay, and we have length, right? Length property, which will be automatically updates when we modify array. Okay. For example, if you see 123 at 123 position, it will insert apple directly, and length will be 124, because all the elements from 0 to 122, it will be empty, and at 124, like at 123 we have, so the length will be 124, right? So similarly, like if you assign something to this length, for example, we have 1 2 3 4 5, and you say array dot length equals to 2. So what you are saying, it should have only two elements. As of now, it has 1 2 3 4 5 elements. It should have only two elements. You are assigning 2 to length. Okay. So if you do like this, what will happen? It will have only two elements, the first two elements. So it will have only 1 and 2. And it will remove 3 4 5. Why? Because we are saying that length should be 2 only. Okay. And if you again say array dot length is 3, then it will add the empty values. Okay, let me show you. For example, we have this array which has 13 elements. Okay, if I say array dot length equals to 12, and if I print array, so the initially the array had 8 as well, right? If I say length became 12, if I say length should be 12, then it automatically removed 8. Okay. If I say length should be 10, and if I print array, then it deleted 6 7 as well. Are you getting? Like it's removing all the elements which are after like the 10th element. Okay. So, and if I increase the length, what happens? Let's say. So as of now, we have only 10 elements. If I increase the length and if I print, it will add the empty values only here, right? So it will add empty values. Is everyone getting how we can play with this length? If you want to remove all the elements after 10th element, then what you can do, just say array dot length equals to 10, so that all the elements after 10th element will get deleted. So we have this array function, right, where you can pass like list of values like this as well. But if you say new array of 2 or 3, like here you can pass even length. So array of 2 means here it will create an empty array with length 2. Okay, like if you give only one digit here, one number, then it will create those many like empty array, it will create with that particular length as well, right? And we have something called as multi-dimensional array as well, which is for matrices we'll be using, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So there is, this is one array, this is one array, and this is one array. and we are holding all these inside an array. So if you see, at 0th position we have 1 2 3, at first position we have 4 5 6, and at second position we have 7 8 9. So if you want 5, then what you will do? It is 0, it is 1, and in this particular array there is one more array as well. Okay, so at 0th position 1 0 4, at 1 0 position 4 will be there, at 1 1 5 will be there, at 1 2 6 will be there, right? So if you want to print 9, what you will write 0 1 2 0 1 2, right? So if you do 2 2, if you do 2 2, then you will get 9. So matrix of 2, in that we have one more array, is go, then you can go on mute. So we got 9. Why? Because uh, at second position we have 9, right? So let's say if you want to print at what is the matrix of 1, if you say, so if matrix of 1, if you say, you are getting 4 5 6, right? So we have one more array as well at 1, like at first position. So if you want something in it, so for example you can say, you can create an array, you can say 1 temp arr equals to matrix of 1, and you will have in this temp array you have 4 5 6. If you want 6, then you can say temp array. If it is confusing like this for you, you can even use like this. So if you do temp of 2, temp array of 2, then you will get 6, right? Is everyone getting how we can create multi-dimensional array and access those values?
Yes, Sunil.
Yeah, okay. And for any array, if you use toString method, it will give you the comma separated list of values. Okay. So for example, this matrix array is there. You say toString, it gave us 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Why? Because like it will convert to a string, and all the values it will be giving as a comma separated. So if you want something comma separated in a string, then you can just do toString. Okay. This is not needed. You can go through this if you want. So as we know, array is also an object. If you compare, for example, if whenever you want to compare, like if it is an empty array or not, you shouldn't compare like this, because internally it's also an object. It will reference to a different place, and it will also reference to a different place. So always it will return false. So whenever you want to compare whether that particular array is empty or not, what you can check, array dot length is equals to 0 or not. If it is equals to 0, that means the array is empty, like that. Okay. 1 second. So that's it about arrays. Let's check if there is any next. So we have array methods as well that we can take up tomorrow. Okay.